Just like us humans, our four-legged companions have complex emotions and can face periods of profound sadness. What may surprise many people is that certain breeds are genetically more vulnerable to these depressive episodes. Canine depression is a real and serious condition that affects the emotional well-being of our pets. It manifests through signs such as extreme apathy, loss of interest in activities that previously brought pleasure, drastic changes in appetite, alterations in sleep patterns, and social isolation. Identifying the first signs is fundamental for early intervention. Observe if your dog has lost interest in favorite games, avoids eye contact, presents unusual destructive behavior, or has drastically changed their eating habits. The good news is that canine depression has effective treatment when approached correctly. In this video, we will reveal the 7 breeds most susceptible to depression and share practical strategies to prevent and treat these conditions. You will discover environmental enrichment techniques that behavioral veterinarians recommend and learn to recognize when it's time to seek professional help. Let's explore what triggers these conditions. The causes can include sudden changes in family routine, loss of a close companion, lack of adequate mental stimuli, prolonged loneliness, or even genetic predisposition. Before we begin, please leave in the comments if you have a pet and what their name is, because we love to see the different names that exist. Let's go. Breed 1. Border Collie. The Border Collie tops our list for a very specific reason related to their extraordinary intellectual capacity. This breed was developed to work intensely, herding flocks for hours, making complex decisions independently. Their brain functions like a high-performance computer that constantly needs new data to process. Behavioral veterinarians frequently treat Border Collies with depressive conditions caused by what we call cognitive understimulation. When these dogs don't receive adequate mental challenges, they develop obsessive-compulsive behaviors, profound apathy, and even self-mutilation. It's like keeping a genius locked in an empty room for days. Depression in this breed manifests in a unique way. They may start compulsively chasing shadows, growling at inanimate objects, or simply lie down and refuse any interaction. Some completely stop responding to commands they knew perfectly. The secret lies in creating enrichment routines that simulate their original work. Intelligence games with progressive difficulty, hiding treats around the house to stimulate searching, home agility training, and even teaching new tricks weekly are fundamental strategies. Intense physical activities are also crucial, but without the mental component, exercise alone doesn't solve the problem. Professionals recommend at least 2 hours daily of structured mental stimulation for Border Collies. This can include canine puzzles, fetch games with varied commands, and controlled socialization with other dogs. The key is to constantly vary the challenges to keep that brilliant brain always engaged and satisfied. Breed 2. Labrador Retriever. The Labrador Retriever represents a fascinating case of how genetic selection for sociability can create emotional vulnerabilities. This breed was developed to work in close collaboration with fishermen, developing a profound emotional dependence on humans that goes far beyond simple obedience. Veterinary clinics report that Labradors are frequently brought in with depressive symptoms after changes in family dynamics. The arrival of a baby, change of residence, divorce of the guardians, or even alterations in work schedules can trigger severe depressive episodes. They literally feel every change in the emotional environment of the house. Specific signs include loss of the voracious appetite characteristic of the breed, reluctance to fetch objects during play, and a visibly dejected body posture. Some Labradors develop what veterinarians call clingy dog syndrome, obsessively following one family member while avoiding others. Prevention involves maintaining consistent social routines. Daily walks at regular times are not just physical exercise, but essential emotional connection moments. These dogs need to feel they have an active role in family life. Including them in simple domestic activities like fetching objects or accompanying tasks satisfies their need for belonging. When depressive signs appear, gradually increasing positive social interactions is crucial. Play with other dogs, visits to new environments with supervision, and mainly re-establishing routines of affection and individual attention help significantly. Constant socialization is literally preventive medicine for this incredibly sociable breed. Breed 3. Golden Retriever. The Golden Retriever possesses an emotional characteristic that makes them particularly vulnerable to depression: their ability to form extremely deep affective bonds. This breed develops emotional connections that behavioral veterinarians compare to the emotional dependence of small children. The loss of a companion, whether human or canine, can emotionally devastate a Golden Retriever. Specialized clinics frequently receive these dogs presenting what professionals call canine pathological grief. They may stop eating for days, refuse walks, and develop regressive behaviors like inappropriate elimination. Separation anxiety is another common trigger for depressive episodes in this breed. Goldens that spend long hours alone develop a profound sadness that manifests through destructive behaviors, excessive vocalization, and social isolation when the guardians return. Preventive treatment involves creating multiple sources of emotional security. Establishing affection routines with different family members avoids excessive dependence on a single person. Toys that gradually release treats during the owner's absences help keep the mind occupied and reduce anxiety. When depression sets in, recovery requires patience and consistency. Activities that reinforce canine self-esteem, like simple training with generous rewards, walks in places that awaken natural curiosity, and gradually reintroducing favorite games are effective strategies. Goldens respond exceptionally well to therapy through consistent physical affection, but without overdoing protection, as this can reinforce depressive behaviors. Breed 4. Poodle. The poodle, in all its size variations, carries a genetic combination that can be problematic: superior intelligence combined with heightened emotional sensitivity. Originally created as water hunting dogs, they developed exceptional capacity to read complex situations and anticipate human needs. Veterinary specialists observed that poodles frequently develop what they call depression from intellectual understimulation. Unlike other breeds, they don't just get bored, but genuinely sad when their minds are not adequately challenged. It's as if they feel they're not fulfilling their potential. The manifestation of depression in poodles includes specific behaviors. They may start ignoring known commands, develop irrational fears of familiar objects, and present dramatic changes in personality. Some become excessively shy, while others develop possessive behaviors toward their guardians. Excessive attachment to a single family member is another risk factor. Poodles can become so emotionally dependent that they enter profound depression when that person travels or changes routine. Professionals recommend diversifying interactions from puppyhood. Breed 5. German Shepherd. The German Shepherd represents a unique case of depression related to loss of existential purpose. This breed was meticulously developed to work, protect, and serve, creating a profound psychological need to have clear and important responsibilities. Specialized veterinary clinics frequently treat German Shepherds with depressive conditions that professionals call retired warrior syndrome. Without specific tasks to fulfill, these dogs develop a profound melancholy that goes far beyond simple boredom. They literally feel they've lost their place in the world. The symptoms are distinctive: hypervigilant behavior followed by periods of total apathy, loss of interest in guard activities, reluctance to leave home, and paradoxically, they may become excessively dependent on their guardians. Some develop obsessive behaviors like constantly patrolling the house or fixation on specific noises. Prevention requires creating an artificial job that meets the psychological needs of the breed. Advanced obedience training, search and seizure exercises with toys, long walks with terrain variations, and controlled protection commands are fundamental. They need to feel they are working for the family. Professionals recommend establishing routines that simulate patrolling, regular yard inspections, walks with specific purpose, and training that exercises their natural protection instincts in a safe way. Controlled socialization with other dogs is also crucial, but should be structured as professional exercise rather than casual play. The secret is making the German Shepherd feel they have important responsibilities and are fulfilling their ancestral duty to protect and serve their human pack. Breed 6. English Bulldog. The English Bulldog presents a unique vulnerability to depression due to the combination of sensitive temperament with predisposition to health problems that directly affect their emotional well-being. This breed has developed an emotional dependence on the domestic environment that makes them extremely susceptible to changes. Veterinarians observe that bulldogs frequently develop depression secondary to physical discomfort. Respiratory, joint, and skin problems common in the breed create a vicious cycle where physical discomfort generates irritability, which evolves to social isolation and later to genuine depressive conditions. Sensitivity to environmental changes is notable in this breed. Changes in house decoration, moving furniture around, or even different types of music can trigger episodes of profound sadness. They literally become stuck to the family routine, and any alteration is perceived as a threat to their well-being. Signs include refusal to go out for walks that were previously pleasurable, loss of interest in food, and regressive behavior like constantly seeking their guardian's lap. Some develop characteristic melancholic vocalizations that experienced bulldog guardians learn to recognize as requests for emotional help. Prevention involves maintaining regular veterinary checkups to monitor physical conditions that may affect mood. Physical activities should be adapted to the breed's respiratory limitations. Short walks during cool times, light indoor play, and lots of physical affection are essential. Creating a stable and predictable domestic environment is preventive medicine. Necessary changes should be introduced gradually, allowing the bulldog to adapt slowly. Physical comfort through orthopedic beds and ambient temperature control also significantly contributes to emotional well-being. Breed 7. Shih Tzu. The Shih Tzu closes our list representing the extreme of canine emotional dependence. Created exclusively to be a companion to royalty, this breed developed a profound psychological need for constant human proximity that, when not met, can generate severe depressive conditions. Canine behavior specialists identify in Shih Tzus what they call depression from emotional abandonment. Unlike other breeds that can tolerate periods of solitude, these dogs literally become emotionally ill when left alone for prolonged periods. Their genetics predispose them to function as emotional extensions of humans. The manifestation of depression includes specific destructive behaviors. They may specifically destroy objects that carry their guardian's scent, develop self-mutilation behaviors like excessively licking their paws, and present vocalizations that professionals describe as genuine canine crying. The shadow dog syndrome is common in this depressed breed. They obsessively follow their guardians around the house, but without the characteristic joy of the breed. It's a melancholic following, as if they feared being abandoned at any moment. Preventive strategies should focus on creating gradual independence without causing emotional trauma. Short separation sessions with pleasurable activities, special toys that only appear during absences, and training to accept temporary isolation are fundamental. Canine depression is a reality that deserves our attention and care. As we discovered, some breeds carry genetic predispositions that make them more vulnerable to these emotional conditions, but this doesn't mean they're condemned to sadness. Understanding these vulnerabilities allows us to be more conscious and proactive guardians. Environmental enrichment is not a luxury, it's a basic necessity. Interactive toys, intelligence games, variation in walking routes, and mental challenges adequate for each breed keep canine minds healthy and engaged. Remember that bored dogs are not just destructive, they can become genuinely depressed. Adequate and continuous socialization also plays a crucial role. Positive interactions with other dogs, people, and diverse environments strengthen emotional resilience and prevent social isolation conditions that can evolve into depression. Recognizing early signs can make all the difference. Sudden changes in appetite, loss of interest in favorite activities, alterations in sleep patterns, regressive behavior, or social isolation are alerts that deserve immediate attention. It's fundamental to understand when to seek professional help. If signs persist for more than 2 weeks, even after adjustments in routine and environment, consult a veterinarian. Professionals specialized in animal behavior can evaluate if there's a need for medical intervention or specific behavioral therapy. Canine depression is not fussiness or excessive anthropomorphization of pets. It's a real medical condition that affects the quality of life of our companions and deserves to be treated with seriousness and care. With knowledge, attention, and adequate care, we can guarantee that our dogs live emotionally full and happy lives, regardless of their genetic predisposition.